Hello, everybody. My name is Lemonade. I also go by Lemon. I am your coach of the Sacramento Surge. And today we have got Season 3 of the Sky Pillar Stadium. This is actually the IPA, but it was rebranded. Long story short, we're going by SPS now. That's basically it. Um, New logo looks awesome. We're in the Zapdos division once again. We're here for Season 3, and I'm just going to jump right on into it. So, in this draft, we are drafting 9 to 11 Pokemon. We are not limited to specifically 11 Pokemon, but 9 is the minimum. We are using 110 points to spend across these maximum of 11 Pokemon. This is a point-based draft instead of tier like we've done the last two seasons, so it's very different. You might have also noticed that I updated the draft analysis document, just made it a little bit prettier. We're going to jump right on into it. I wanted something very offensive. I wanted something pretty fast, offensive, with generally very good options, and that thing was Daito the Kartana. So Kartana, with the Grass and Steel typing, is a very good defensive typing, honestly, with only two weaknesses being a 4 times weakness to fire and fighting. Um, Beast Boost allows it to be able to set up or just sweep with the attack boost constantly, and just look over its stats really quickly. Base 181 attack. That is ridiculous. That is a huge attack stat. You bring it in mid or late game and it sweeps. Base 131 defense means that it can take some, not resisted, but just neutral hits very well. It doesn't take any super effective hits like at all. It's got base 59 HP. It does not take super effective hits at all. Base 109 speed makes it a good Scarfer, something that can also run. It actually also has Tailwind, so it can run Tailwind Sword Dance or just Tailwind 3 attacks. It's got very good attacks actually in Sacred Sword, Leaf Blade with high crit chance. It's got Psycho Cut for coverage. Unfortunately, its best steel type attack is Smart Strike, but it has base 181 attack. I don't think I care. Um, it's got knockoff as well. It's just an all around very good Pokemon. I felt like it was a really good, and I just realized that I don't even have the name of the Pokemon on the on the slide. Hold on. Okay, that's fixed now. This thing did cost us 14 points, putting us down to 96, which is pretty far ahead of what most of the coaches are at. Mostly everybody's grabbing 18 pointers or 16 or 17, just around there, while I'm grabbing a 14 point right off the bat. But yeah, that's Daito. I'm super excited to use this thing. I've been fixated on the idea of using it a lot lately. But we're going to move on now to our second pick of the draft. I forgot to mention we had the 13th pick out of 16, so it took us a while to get to us. But we do have a pretty close pick to the wheel, which is what I was really hoping for. I was hoping for something a little bit further away. Like I would have taken 12th or 11th maybe. 13's fine with it. Anyway, though, our second pick of the draft is Atlas the Goodra. So Goodra is super good. I love it. Favorite dragon type to use in draft, absolutely. Sap Sipper means it has grass immunity. Very good for a future pick. Hydration, it's not going to be useful right now, but trust me, it will be later. Gooey is a very good ability that lowers our opponent's speed by one stage if they make contact with the Goodra. And that's really good because, as you'll see, its special defense is so absurdly high that your opponents want to be going for physical attacks. But Goodra can run like Rocky Helmet with just max HP, and it can still take that hit pretty well. And then it can just get a -1 speed drop on your opponent just like that. So it's giving us instant speed control. Outside of that, though, again, it has a ridiculously high special defense stat at 150, a very good special attack stat at 110, and a very good attack stat at 100. And it's got pretty good coverage in both ends there with Power Whip, Earthquake, Rock Slide. I don't think it has Dragon Claw. It might have Outrage, but it's got those three coverage moves on the physical side. But on the special side, it's so good. It's got Hydro Pump, Draco Meteor, Thunderbolt. Um, it's got Sludge Wave. It's got Fire Blast and Flamethrower. It's got such good coverage and such a good special defense. And you just slap in a Soul Vest on this thing, and it completely walls every special attacker in the game. Very, very good pick. Probably the most ideal dragon type to pair with Kartana. This thing did cost us 10 points, which um, this definitely made some people in the draft very concerned, very confused about what I was going for. But we're now at 86 points, and we're going to bring that total even lower with a very good fairy type to round off our fairy dragon steel. Cupid the Sylveon. I'm so happy I got this thing because Sylveon is such a good fairy. Probably one of the best in draft. Um, Cute Charm, I don't think we're actually allowed to run Cute Charm because I think that Attract is banned, but Pixiliate is a very good ability that changes normal type moves into fairy type moves. It gives them a 1.2, I think, times boost. So Hyper Voice is actually like a 92 base power move. Um, Very good fairy type. It's got access to Wish and Heal Bell for support. It can Baton Pass. It's got very good coverage in Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Mystical Fire, Hyper Voice, Moonblast. Uh, it's got store power as well. It's got Calm Mind to set up. Um, all around, very, very good fairy type. Very good. And this is the ideal fairy dragon steel core I would have gone for. I would have taken Florges or Aromatisse as well, but if this thing was still here in round 3, so I took it. I prioritized Gudra because Gudra was a very important piece of my team. This thing costs us 13 points, putting us down to 73, which is still significantly higher than some of the other coaches, which I think is an advantage. I think that this was something that put me in a pretty good advantage pretty early on. Our next pick, though, I think it's about time to reveal the usefulness of Gudra here, and it's with Brosidon, the Mega Swampert. So Mega Swampert is water ground type, which means that it is only weak to grass. But that is a 4 times weakness, but it's the only weakness it has. It's got such good moves. But first, look at its stats. Base 100 HP, 150 attack, 110 defense, 110 special defense. Those are all so good. And then it's got Swift Swim to double that speed. That is pretty lackluster on its own, but it's very good if you get a Drizzle Pokemon. Um, and now to reveal the thing about its moveset, it's got access to Darkest Lariat, very good Dark type move. It's got Liquidation now, very good Water type move if you want to get defense drops. It's got Ice Punch. It's got Stone Edge. It actually has Stealth Rocks as well. It can go for Superpower to hit like really annoying Steel types that have Levitate or something, or like Air Balloon. It has, but the number one thing for me absolutely was Flip Turn. Flip Turn is the newer water type move that is, I think it's 65 base power, um, and it's a pivot move. So it hits them. It's physical. It's water, and then the Pokemon switches out. The amazing thing about it is that not only is it being used by a Mega Swampert with base 150 attack and stab, but it's either being used as slow pivot outside of rain or hard hitting fast pivot inside of rain. So it's two very good options right there. And I'm actually not remember. Oh, never mind. I remember what our next pick was. So yeah, I'm super happy with this thing. This thing is so good. I'm really happy I got it. Um, and I really only got it this early because I wasn't sure what else to get. And I felt like it was a good time to secure it. And our next pick though was a Pokemon I'm very familiar with. Is one of my favorite Pokemon to draft. I love it. It's got a very good ability that I absolutely love having. Um, it's Data Quack, the Porygon 2, because I can't pick a nickname for it. Data Quack here is a very good normal type, with usually holding the Eviolite item, boosting its defense and special defense by 1 stage, um, just by holding it. It's got 3 really good abilities. Trace changes the Porygon's ability to your opponent's ability. So that is going to give us some really good scouting pretty early on. Download is usually there for more offensive sets with like Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and then Analytic. Uh, Again, offensive sets, but usually down. It's a little bit better than download just because download is dependent on um, the opponent's defense stat. Like the way it works is it'll increase Porygon's attack or special attack depending on which defense is lower of the opponent's. So like if I sent this thing out in front of Tangrowth, it would increase its special attack. Um, so yeah, this thing can be very tanky. Really forces your opponent to bring knockoff every week. Um, Base 105 special attack is good enough that it can hit pretty hard with Tri Attack and Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam. It's got really good coverage actually. I just want to pull it up really quickly. It's got Discharge as well for spreading paralyzes. Icy Wind, Psy Shock, Psychic, Tri Attack, Thunderbolt. Yeah, that's good coverage, and it also has Foul Play, which is something that I really didn't utilize in season 1, but I feel like I really should have. Yeah, that's that. It's also a Trick Room user to counter Trick Room. It has Recovery and Recover. It has its own Rain Dance, which isn't that super helpful, but it also has Toxic and T-Wave, which is going to be very good for wearing down defensive, very annoying Pokemon, and as well as slowing down some very offensive, annoying Pokemon. But it also has access to Teleport, which is a negative priority pivot move. Basically, if this Porygon uses Teleport, it will be guaranteed to move last, and then it'll switch out. So very good option there for something like Kartana or Mega Swampert to just come in. Also, I forgot to mention, Mega Swampert got bulk up, so we can set up now. That's a really good thing. It's a really, really good thing. So our next pick was something that was on my radar since the beginning of this idea. Um, Kartana, Goodra, Sylveon, and Mega Swampert were all in the idea the whole time. Um, but there's two more Pokemon that were in this draft play. I forgot to mention. Uh, Porygon 2 cost us 11 points, putting us at 48, and Mega Swampert was like 13 or 14. I think it was 14. Um, but yeah, so we're at 48 points now, which is a pretty good spot, being not even halfway through the draft. And well, like we are about halfway through the draft, and we have already used more than half our points. But other coaches at this point are pretty much down to their like 40, 30 points. And I'm still sitting here pretty much at 50. So that's a really good spot for me. Gave us some really good options. Our next pick, though, was something that was on my radar since literally the beginning of this idea. The second I came up with this, the second I decided on Swampert Gudra, I decided on this pick being Vikavolt. So Tesla the Vikavolt, very good Pokemon. I love it. Base 145 special attack, hits hard. Levitate, very good ability, gives us a ground immunity. Not that we really need it at this point, but it's very good to have. Its defenses are okay. Its HP is not great, but its defense is pretty good, and its special defense is okay as well. The biggest downfall of it, though, is its speed at only base 43. But something that your opponents usually can end up just not prepping for is the fact that it has agility. So if you just run max speed agility, it can outspeed a lot of things. And outside of that, its special coverage is really good. It has Air Slash, Bug Buzz, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Flash Cannon, Mud Shot, and Volt Switch as well. So that's pretty good coverage all in all. Oh, and Energy Ball as well. I don't think I said Energy Ball. Outside of the special side, its status moves are also very good with Recovery and Roost. It has Iron Defense, it has Thunder Wave and Toxic as well. But the number one thing that really stood out to me was the fact that it has sticky webs. And that is because the biggest threat to Mega Swampert is Scarfed grass types. And sticky webs will be reducing their speed by one stage, and then Swampert can just outspeed and destroy them with an ice punch. So I felt like that was a great pick. I'm super happy with this one. This thing cost us 8 points, putting us down at 40, which is a pretty good spot considering we have 5 more picks left. And I'm pretty sure at this point, at this point, I just really wasn't sure what to pick. So I just went with the thing that I knew I was going to be ending up picking anyway, and that was Sea Spray the Pelipper at 12 points. Yeah, it's Pelipper. It's here only for Drizzle. It can U-turn, it can knock off, it can scald, it can hurricane. Uh, it doesn't do much. It doesn't. But for what it does it pretty well. It sets rain, it pivots, it can take physical hits fairly well. Uh, that's pretty much it. It can hit harder with like Hurricane and Weather Ball. It definitely can if you wanted to. It has Defog and Roost as well. So those are good moves, I guess. Uh, yeah, it doesn't have super great options, but for the options that it does have, they're pretty decent. This thing is mainly definitely here just to set rain for Swampert. I don't think that it has anything that I'm. It has Tailwind. That could be good, I guess. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only thing that's really. Yeah, that's really it. Um, so we're going to move on then. And this is the literal only pick in the entire draft that was not planned from the beginning, and that is Charmy the Whimsicott. So I actually originally planned for Jolteon, but I did the math wrong, and I had enough points for Whimsicott, so I grabbed it. Whimsicott's very good at base 116 speed. Um, it has the ability of Prankster, which means that all status moves go first, but any Dark-type Pokemon are immune to any targeting status moves. So this thing costs us 8 points, which puts us down to 20, which is a really good spot for 3 picks left. Really, really good. Um, It can also run an infiltrator to be offensive though, to deal with screens and substitute though. So that's really good. We are doubling down on another grass and a fairy type, but it's such a good one that I can't just pass it up. Um, it's a really good fairy type, and I really wanted to grab something that was naturally fast because currently the fastest thing on my team was Kartana, and then Mega Swampert. But Swampert relies on the rain to be fast, so I wanted to grab something that was naturally fast, and that's why I originally played Jolteon. Um, but I really like Whimsicott, I really do. And in my draft plan, I really needed something that could learn Taunt because I didn't want to be dealing with Trick Room all the time, and I did because I mean my only Trick Room user is Porygon, so I can only counter it with that. Um, so I really wanted to secure something like that that could really help me out with some speed control. It's got access to Tailwind and Stun Spore. It has Memento as well, which can allow Mega Swampert or Kartana to set up for free, which I really, really like. I love that. It has Charm to have their attack Encore to force them into a move they don't want to be into. It's got Leech Seed for recovery. It has Switcheroo for some item shenanigans. And it has U-turn for pivot, and it's got some pretty decent coverage, I think. It's got grass, it's got fairy, psychic, shadow ball. Yeah, that's pretty much it, but it's not bad. Oh, actually, also it has hurricane, and hurricane is a 110 base flying type move that does not miss in rain. So I didn't even realize that until after I drafted it, but that's a pretty solid pick for us. At this point, we are missing out on some pretty important types, and I really wanted to capitalize on that right now because I was actually really worried about another coach grabbing it. And also, I just really, but then he spent his points and he couldn't get it, so I felt fine after that. Um, but I also just didn't feel like anybody was going to take our next two the picks after this one anyway. But the pick we spent right here is Sinus the Sableye. Sableye is a favorite of mine. It's my favorite ghost type of all time. I love it. Its stats are nothing to behold by any means, but Prankster is very helpful, giving it priority in all status moves, and that it does include Rain Dance. So we can use that for support. It's got access to Prankster Will-O-Wisp. It has Toxic as well. It's got Trick. It has Knockoff, Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch. It can hit pretty hard with Poltergeist. It has Recover. Um, and the actual, like, I didn't realize how problematic this thing in particular was for my team until I got worried about another coach grabbing it, because Prankster Will-O-Wisp is actually really problematic for Kartana and Mega Swampert, which are currently our main sweepers of the team. So that's kind of problem. That was kind of problematic, but we're good. We're fine. We got it. Uh, this thing costs us 4 points, putting us at 16. Still a crazy good spot to be at with only 2 picks left. I don't really have much else to say. Kenai install completely useless. It's always going to be running Prankster. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this thing. Our next pick though was something that is familiar to the last rain team I had. Um, it was a little bit of an MVP for sure. Um, but it wasn't even for its rain capabilities. It is Kraken the Tentacruel. So Kraken is back from the LTPO, which wasn't a very successful server for me. But Tentacruel costing us 9 points, putting us at 7 left. This thing has two very good abilities: Clear Body and Liquid Ooze. Clear Body means that it cannot have its stats lowered, and that includes from Sticky Webs. So if our opponent's trying to run Sticky Webs, we can easily just go into this thing, not get our speed lowered, and just go for Rapid Spin. Uh, and Liquid Ooze is not even a very good ability in the game, but it's very good in the sense that it kind of forces your opponent to not want to bring Giga Drain or Draining Kiss or any of those moves. Because what it does is instead of them getting health back, they lose health from using draining moves. This thing has a very good special defense stat, which is something that I felt like my team needed. Uh, Besides, like, well, actually, I didn't really need it. There's Goodra, Sylveon, and Porygon, and Swampert's got base one. We didn't really need really good special defense, but I felt like it was going to be really helpful for Kartana. Um, so yeah, this thing's a very good switch out option for Kartana. I don't think it's super great with Kartana. Is it? I don't think it's super great with Kartana. It's okay. It's not horrible. Yeah, this thing has access to Rapid Spin, Knockoff, Dazzling Gleam. I think it has Shadow Ball too. It's got Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave. It's got Hex, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam. It's got Toxic Spikes as well. It also has Acid Spray, which could be really good. It has Giga Drain, Infestation. I'm literally just looking at its move pool right now. I think that's pretty much it for it. It does have access to Sword Stance if I want to run a physical. And Haze, actually. Haze is really good. Haze just completely removes your opponent's stat boosts and the Tentacool stat boosts. So that could be really good to just shut down a sweeper. So yeah, that's Tentacool. And we are on to our final pick of the draft. And you've probably noticed that I only have one Pokemon, the Swift Swim, which is just not very good. So I wanted to grab another with Husk the Kabutops. Kabutops was also in the last rain team I had, but I never used it. I just didn't find the matchup for it. But it's another Rapid Spinner. It's a Stealth Rock setter, which I kind of needed, and I just realized I didn't put the name on this thing either. Hold on just 1 second. Okay. Okay, sorry. I don't think it's even showing up. Okay, well, it says Kabutops now. We grab Kabutops because it's a very good Swift Swim Pokemon with access to Sticky Web, or not Sticky Web, sorry, Stealth Rock and Rapid Spin. It also has access to Knockoff. Liquidation hits pretty hard. It's got Superpower, Stone Edge. I think it has like Ice Punch. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. But it also has Priority and Aqua Jet, which we kind of needed, which we kind of did need. It has Cross Poison. It's got Leech Life, Night Slash, Psycho Cut, Razor Shell. I actually really like that move. It's a fun move. Waterfall, X Scissor. Those are all very good moves. But the number one thing, again, is Flip Turn. So this thing also got Flip Turn, just like Mega Swampert did. So it can also pivot, which is really valuable. I don't have much else to say. This thing cost us 6 points, leaving us with 1 point left in the draft that we're just going to save because I don't have a need for it. I don't feel a single bit of desire to even use it on anything, and we can't anyway. Unless I just want to trade something for 1 point higher Pokemon, and I don't really want to do that. So yeah, we got our full team here. I love it. I really think that this team is going to go to finals. It's a really good team. There are a few things out there that I'm really looking at that are just really big threats for us, not gonna lie. But I think that we have our ways of handling them. Like really good ways of handling them too. Um I'm really excited for this. I'm literally recording this like half an hour after draft was finished. I have no intention of trading anything in free agent in grace period. I'm happy with this team. I'm really, really happy with this team. I think Julian would have been fun, but I'm also very happy with Whimsicott. I think it's very fitting. And that's it. That's all I've got for you guys today. So I'm going to see you all later. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, as I do enjoy making these videos myself. And I'm going to see you all in the